What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. It is episode number 41, returns today on the back of just a 1 win in our last 4 games, 2 defeats in our last 4 games, and Gonzalo, who got the injury on our Christmas Day draw against West Ham, sprained his knee and is done for 4 weeks as well. So 3 players currently down. Ipswich stumbling a little bit with just 4 points taken from a possible 12. We're clinging on to top spot as the second half of the season gets underway today. We'll have more games in the league, the January window opening, the FA Cup third round to West Brom, and match day 7 and probably 8 in the Europa League phase as well. The squeeze is on as the Tractor Boys have stalled a little bit. Let's jump into our first game today. It is the final game of December. It is Crystal Palace at home, and what have we been saying? If we are to stay in pole position, we got to win these games. Glasnow's side right now, 17th place, 4 wins in 19 and only just above the bottom 3. This needs to be a banker and a big return to winning ways on the back of a poor mini run. Let's get it sorted here at Portman Road. Go on, Ipswich Town. Yeah, you know the cliche is that football is a game of 2 halves, and this is the second half of the league season. Right now, 1 point, top of the table. And you might sit there and think, you know, that's fantastic, Doxy boy. You know, 1 point at the top. First season where really, let's be honest here, we're in a proper title race. Never really believed we were in one 2 years ago. Someone in the middle, please. Someone in the middle. Old school FIFA goal. Will, not take it. Washington aiming to end his goal drought, hits the bar. But it's just knowing that so recently, we could have gone 9 points clear at the top of the table had we not lost away against Leicester. And now the gap is 1. I know hindsight's a beautiful thing, but it's so frustrating in life, isn't it? When you look back and say, man, if I would have done this, if I would have done that, things would be so much better than they are right now. Unfortunately, that's just how it goes. When I think about all the mistakes I've made in my life, and believe me, there's been a lot of them. Take your pick. I can't help but feel disappointed in myself sometimes for making such bad decisions that have cost me massively, you know, whether it was finances or relationships or just social endeavours, whatever it may have been, you know. I think, God, if I could go back in time with the wisdom I've got now, you know. But unfortunately, you can't do that. All you can do is just, you know, take the lessons you've learned and then move forward and be better heading into your next endeavour. And that's exactly how I'm looking at it right now. I can't go back in time and take that 9-point gap, which I could have had. I wish I could, but I can't. So with that being the case, focus on the present to affect the future and forget the past. Georgie puts us 2 up. Yeah, I think about this all the time, and it's not good for my mental health, so I need to work on it. But like I've always been like kind of relatively poor compared to, you know, most adults in the UK. I've always been relatively poor. I grew up poor, so I guess it's no surprise that I kind of stayed that way. But I think about the brief period of time where I had a bit of money in the bank. I had no debt. As if I've got no debt now, but still, I had no debt and a little bit of money in the savings. And I think, God, if I would have just invested in crypto, do you know what I mean? If I would have invested and not just kept it in the savings account, knowing it would depreciate in its real value over time due to the inflation and the cost of living and so on. If I would have just invested in a bit of crypto, if I would have bought that Tesla stock like one of my friends did and made a bit of money on it, even though there wasn't much money in the savings, it would have grown as opposed to have reduced. Just can't go back in time, man. It cost me massively financially what I missed out on, but it's just one of those things. But like I said, just focus on the present to affect the future in a positive way. So what we're doing today, we are freeing it up at Portman Road. Yeah, going back about, I don't know, 5 years ago now? 4 or 5 years ago? It was pre-pandemic. I remember my friend, like I said, he's a big Elon Musk fan. And I've never really been like a celebrity worship kind of person where you unequivocally support or dislike a celebrity. I've never really understood it. Like I don't know the person personally, so I can't really like stand by them unanimously or dislike them wholeheartedly. It's like I don't know them well enough. But he's a huge Elon Musk fan, and he was telling me, you know, Musk's a genius, mate. Like, honestly, you know, I'm investing in his shares. You got to buy some, man. They're going to be worth so much money in a few years. And I was like, nah, like I'd never invested before. I never even considered investing before. So I was like, nah, it's too risky. Like I'll just leave it in the bank. And don't get me wrong, it wouldn't have been like that much money to invest anyway, so my returns wouldn't have been as big as his was, but it would have been more than what I would have had if I decided to invest instead of just keep it in the bank. Hindsight, eh? Beautiful thing. As James Garner's delivery is flicked on by Davis, but that will do it. 3-0 full time. And like I said, you can't change the past. We could have gone 9 points clear, but we can't go back in time and put it right. All we can do is put things right now in the present to try and affect the future in a positive way. We've just done that. Big 3-0 win, back to winning ways, and a convincing win to start the second half of the season off. It was Manchester United win, Arsenal beat Brighton, Newcastle beat Man City. Honestly, you look at the table as we're about to head into the January transfer window, where of course we had that big decision to make regarding Liam Delap and Mumba. Right now, still top, now 4 clear, but it's just so tight. I mean, genuinely, I don't think you can rule out anyone down to 11th place Manchester City. Leicester might be our big bogey team, but I'm not sure they're a massive threat. But even Man City in 11th place with 31 points, 12 behind, I don't think you can rule them out. I really don't. And why wouldn't you after 10 titles in 11 seasons? So, yeah, here we go. January window is here. And the big question is, what do we do with Delap and Mumba? Keep or let them go? As a youth player is unsettled, that is Marcus Randolph. It's a young striker we got from England. Is that the one? Yes, it is indeed. So I'll give him a pro deal. And I'm going to try and loan out Riley Stokes in this window as well. Stokes is, of course, our best prospect alongside Malcolm Allen. I'm going to give them both pro deals and try and get them loaned out. Speaking of youth players out on loan, just a quick report for you guys as well. Joey Jones, and our Stokes #1, is up to 67 overall, so that's exactly why I signed Fraser Forster. Did I add Stokes to the loan list? No, I'll do it now. But also as well, you'll see Hassan, the central midfielder, out on loan at Forest. He's up to 74 overall, despite playing only 1 Premier League game. Shenjalir at Braga hasn't featured in any of their Europa League games, but he's up to 69 overall. Bate is 64, and then up top, of course, the wonderkid Nicholas Price up to 68 with Carlisle United, but of course still has a long way to go. Long way to go. He's back in the summer, and I'll try and loan him out again before he features for this team heavily. So yeah, with Delap, it's a difficult one, man, because again, he's out of contract coming the end of the season, but now 25 years old. I don't want to lose him on a free. He's still getting better, and in this run without Amin Adli, he's got the game time, and he's got a goal in every 2 appearances. 7 in 14 is a better ratio than Washington right now, plus a couple of assists in Europe as well. I don't want to lose him on a free, but I can't promise him he'll be an important squad player anymore. I guess what I could do is give it to him for this season, and then in the new year, try and renegotiate the contract again to rotation, just to, if nothing else, make sure at least we won't lose him on a free, if anything. But I just wish he would say, do you know what? Okay, I'll be a rotational piece. And, oh, he does this time. Thank goodness. Start right now. This time, Doxy boy, don't mess up the wage demands. I offered him, I think it was 30 grand a week, which he turned down a few months ago. And I can see why. 52 grand. It's a lot of money for a 3rd/4th choice striker. But he is English and homegrown and trained in the nation. He's been with us since season 1. He's a part of the furniture. It's a lot of money. But I guess in modern day football, you've kind of got to expect it, really. If I can get him to around 50 grand a week, I still think that would be fair. But he says, no, if you want me to take a reduction in minutes, you're going to have to give me a bigger pay packet. I guess in some ways it can be considered quite realistic. Let's go 52.5 grand a week. He's trying to get it down a little bit. I know we've got the money here. I know we've got plenty of cash, but I don't have the wage bill get exploding too much. And in the end, it will be 52.5 grand a week. The jury's still out on whether Mumba will stay or go, but Delap is not going anywhere. Tractor boy for life. Liam signs the extension. As for Mumba, I don't know what we'll be doing with him, because I mean he's been, you know, a decent squad player as well since we signed him, but he doesn't really feature that much as a bid comes in for Onana from Bologna, but of course we're going to turn it down. He's staying with us. He's a decent player, don't get me wrong, but he's nowhere near as impactful as a backup as someone like Delap. He's like 4th choice winger or fullback in this team, wherever I play him. And when you look at the options we've got in the positions where he plays, again, I either play him at fullback or on the wing. I mean, we got plenty at right back. We got Ben Johnson, Nathan Patterson, both still here as well. Obviously on the wings as well. Then you got Hassan. You've got Hutchinson, Mudryk, and of course Koleosho when he's fit. Plus Bay. Don't forget about Bay as well. So for Mumba, I think I'm going to gamble. If someone wants to sign him on a free, they can. If he stays for the rest of the season, I'll consider consider giving him extension in the summer. Right, following game, FA Cup third round, West Brom at home. Should be a banker and progress through to the last 32. And don't forget, this season, the board of 7, the first time ever, we got to reach Wembley. Haven't even got to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup yet, let alone Final 4. But that's my target, semi-finals minimum, and we start here. West Brom at home, go on and switch down. I think the only thing I can compare it to is, like, for me, it's not necessarily like, you know, celebrities or influencers. It's probably athletes. Like, I've got like favorite athletes, for example. It's not quite the same thing. Like, if LeBron James brought out a cryptocurrency, maybe I'll consider investing in it, you know. But I've had like mates who, like, they follow someone so heavily, and I've never quite understood the level of, like, again, intensity, but behind following someone with that kind of like unequivocal, defense of anything they do, or, you know, support of everything they do. I've never quite understood it personally. As what a goal that would have been by Georgie. But maybe that's just it for me, you know. Like, maybe that's just it. Like, I don't fully get it. Maybe because I'm not totally in that world. Athletes are again a bit different. I've got my favourite, you know, football players and stuff like that. But yeah, I wouldn't follow a celebrity to the ends of the earth. I don't know what I'm talking about here, but anyway, still leading by 1. Excellent start. Second goal is coming. Second goal is in the back of the net. Georgie with another, and I must say, after a slow start for him, he has really began to turn it round. And how often do we say it? Just because you've had a stumbling start, it doesn't mean there's never a chance to turn the tide. There always is, and Georgie is proof of that. He's been brilliant since his poor start. To be fair, maybe one reason why that is as well is because I'm not really, you know, on social media as much as I used to be. Like, I don't really use it that much, to be honest. I mean, it's just wide. Like, for YouTube as a video hosting site, obviously I post every day. It's my favourite thing to do, but the actual social media element of, you know, your Instagrams and your Snapchats and so on. I used to be very into those platforms, but now not really at all, as Georgie bangs in the third. And maybe that's one of the reasons why, because I just don't see the entertainers or the athletes or the businessmen that other people would see more frequently if they're on their social media platforms a lot more. So maybe that's one of the reasons why I don't have as much of a connection to them, because I don't see them as much, because nowadays I'm not really on social media really much at all compared to how I used to be. I must say, that's done wonders for my mental health, by the way. Like, deciding to deciding to take a step back from social media has done wonders for my mental health, no doubt about that. Mikhailo Mudryk, though, has just made it 4, and we've absolutely ran rampant in the first half. Baggy's trying to pass out from the back, always tough to do, especially away against a high-pressing side like ours. But for Mudryk there, I don't score many chip goals nowadays, but they're always so clean when they come off, especially when it hits the back of the net with the player running away to celebrate before it's hit it. 4-0. I think social media gets a bit of an unfair rep at times, don't get me wrong. I feel like the criticism it gets is a bit extreme. Social media has helped so many people form friendships, you know, relationships, romantic relationships, and it's helped people's careers. You know, it's helped me on YouTube, it's helped me gain friendships as well. So I think social media gets a bit of a bad rep at times, unfairly so, but I will say this, I think at times if you spend a bit too much time on it, you can start to fall into the trap of constantly comparing yourself to others who, you know, as we know, social media, especially things like Instagram, is a bit of a highlight reel, do you know what I mean? It just shows you the absolute best. So when you're seeing the best things on Instagram, all the people you follow living their best lives, and you think to yourself, man, I'm just struggling to pay rent right now, it can play havoc with your overall sense of gratitude and happiness as well. And recently I've been talking about how my depression was playing up a little bit, and I was thinking, like, why am I starting to feel a bit more negative? Why am I starting to feel a bit more ungrateful, you know? And I realised, well, it's because at night, you know, when I get back from the gym, I normally get back about 10:30 at night. Oftentimes I'll have a shower, I'll get into bed, and what do for the final like half an hour, 45 minutes? I'll go on my phone and go on the apps, go on the platforms. And when you're seeing people living great lives and you think, oh man, I'm absolutely exhausted, I've had a really, really tough day, you know, rent's coming up and I'm not looking forward to having to make that payment, you know, and you just think, man, this is so negative, whereas for everyone else it's so positive. It's social media, like I said. I think if you limit it, you don't have to give up on it completely, but I think if you limit it, you will start to notice yourself finding a little bit more gratitude in life, and that's always a good thing when you're trying to improve your happiness. And this is making me happy. Ipswich Town back in form. Back-to-back clean sheets, back-to-back wins, and progress through to the 4th round. Right, next up, first league game in January. And on the back of back-to-back wins and those back-to-back clean sheets as well, hopefully the Tractor Boys are going to get back on the road to silverware once again. Honestly, there is a genuine shot at a treble this year. But I'm trying not to think about it too much. The most important thing is taking it game by game. And this game, a tough one. Aston Villa away, who I would still say, even 11 points behind in 7th, are a rival for the title. So a big game away as we go for our 3rd straight win in a row. Come on, Ipswich Town. It's worth pointing out as well that our last 2 away days in the Premier League both ended in defeat. First against Leicester, the bogey team, and then away in North London against Arsenal, where we lost with the final kick of the game. Tractor Boys struggling on their travels right now. And thus, going to Villa Park, a tough ground to get wins at. If we can win this one... Oh, what a ball. Come with me. Yes! What a response that will be. What a response that would be. Not just a draw and avoiding defeat, but winning away after back-to-back defeats. Georgie with the lead. You know, it feels like every new signing we make at the moment has a really tough start and then turns it round. Bulker, last season, brought him in. He was woeful in the first few games. Dropped a couple of clangers, couldn't keep a clean sheet to save his life. And now, he's one of the best goalkeepers in the league. You know, Anafio, we started off this season, a few games with him, and we were thinking, man, I put this guy on 100 grand a week. He's barely worth a fraction of that. He's making mistake after mistake and just not on it. And of course, pre-injury, he was brilliant. He got a goal against Palace. He was part of, you know, our rock-solid defence that was keeping, I think, what was it, 9 clean sheets in a row as well. And Georgie's the same. I think he took 5 or 6 games before he got his first goal. And now, he's getting a direct contribution in every game. It's the turnaround, man. And what a response this is going to be from the Tractor Boys. After back-to-back away day losses. Not 3 defeats in 4, like I said, but it was only 1 win in 4. And a struggling mini patch of form. But now, possibly 3 straight wins. And, oh, it probably would have been had Washington just snuck that one in there. But, yeah, 3 straight wins. Progress through to the 4th round of the FA Cup. And a win here at Villa Park. So if we can hold on to this, this is going to be a massive, massive psychological boost. And Man City in the 4th round away at the Etihad. Any other season, I'd be fearing the worst. This season, with them struggling a little bit, I think we'd probably favour us to take them out there at the Etihad and make it through in the Cup as well. If there was ever a season for silverware where we haven't won a single trophy or even reached a final yet, it's this one, as Cody Gakpo fires in a leveller. But that's the thing, man, you've got to take your chances, otherwise you'll be punished. Could have gone 2-0 up, and now our lead is gone. Into the final 13 minutes. Is there going to be a late winner between 2 teams who will be thinking, in a rare year where Man City are out of form, we could win that championship if we are in good form between now and the end of the season. Tractor Boys, unfortunately, struggling with their away days. This is going to be just 1 point taken from 9. It's fine. And no wins in 3. Unless Hutchinson hangs one up. Hassan! Oh, what a goal that would have been. Just couldn't keep it down. Yep, Tractor Boys continuing to travel poorly. 1 point taken from a possible 9 and no wins in our last 3. Surrendering the lead here. Bigger picture, it's Villa Park. It's always a tough place to come, and it's no losses in our last 4 in all competitions. But if we want to stay in pole position in an incredibly tough, challenging, competitive division right now, can't afford to let lead slip against title rivals. Big missed opportunity there. Back home for the next one, but back down to 2nd place on the back of the win for Arsenal at Ellen Road. Dropping to 2nd, a point behind Arteta's side. But this, our game in hand. 17 to play, and we can't afford slip-ups in these games. Unfortunately, it's against one of the teams I practically always slip up against. Yep, bogey team. They beat us at the King Power, and now it's time for revenge. Coming to East Anglia, Leicester at Portman Road, where, quite frankly, I've got to overcome this psychological hurdle and return to top of the table. Foxes at Portman Road. Come on, Ipswich Town. Yeah, we've got to put a stop to this, man. Like, seriously, every time we face Leicester, they just turn us over. And it's too easy for them as Walker makes the save there and keeps it at 0-0. But we shouldn't be struggling like this, whether it's home or away at the King Power. I mean, we're a far better team. But instead, every time we faced them, do you know what it is? It's like when you give someone an inch and they take a yard. That's the best way of putting it. It's like we've allowed it to go on too long now, and look what's happened. We've got a bigger problem because of it. A real psychological issue playing these guys. We needed to nip it in the bud as soon as possible. Instead, what a kick, Bulka. We've only got ourselves to blame for being in this situation now. Gives White. Turns and finds Georgie. He's got space to let fly. Oh, what a goal that would have been. Off the crossbar, and Hamza Chowdhury is going to control it and get it away. Off the crossbar from the Georgian. You know, Amin is back in training, and it won't be long before he's back on the pitch. And whilst, to be fair, we actually haven't missed him like I thought we would. Georgie picking up the slack. Just couldn't get that to squeeze in. Well, once again, another game where we fail to beat the bogey team. Doxy's kryptonite. It's the Achilles heel, man. We just cannot beat Leicester City. Even at home, couldn't even get a goal against them despite how free scoring we've been recently. It just sums it up, man. They are the thorn in my side, and they always will be until they're relegated. To be fair, I think we've gone top, but only on goal difference. And that means now it's only one win in the Premier League in, I believe, what's that, 4 or 5 games now? I mean, we are struggling. So we just loaned out Stokes, and Gonzalez coming back as well. So there's the good news we need right now. Our 3 stars coming back into the team. Gonzalo, Amin, and also Koleosho as well. But yeah, it is tight right now. It is really, really tight in the league. And as things stand, I said it before and I'll say it again. Genuinely, I believe that anyone in the top 11 places can still end up winning this title. Hey, can't even rule out Wolves right now. It's been that chaotic of a season. Right, let's do 2 or 3 more heading into this one. Penultimate game of the Europa League phase. And I'd say now really top of the group, or league phase I should say, and unbeaten. I feel confident we should be finishing top 8. The question is, can we hold on to top spot, period. Midtjylland, one of the only other undefeated sides remaining in the league phase, away in Denmark. Come on, let's switch down. It's a tough first half this, and you can see why they're undefeated. They're such a decent side, FC Midtjylland. You know, there are certain teams that you kind of associate with certain eras or competitions. FC Midtjylland and the Europa League, they just seem to fit together. And as things stand, they're going to inflict our first loss on us in Europe this year. There had some big names over the years, FC Midtjylland. Do you remember when he had Pion Sisto? He was like one of the best young wingers in Europe. Well, tonight, it's not him that's got the goal. It's Raimondo, 5 in 9, and behind in Denmark. Not what we need as we try and return to form. A little bit lucky, but we will take it. Georgie with the instant leveller, 1-1. Yeah, back then, Pion Sisto, genuinely like one of the best young wingers in Europe. He was linked to some big European clubs. In the end, he went to Celta Vigo for a few years. And then he came back there. I don't know where he plays now. But, yeah, what a time that was. What a time to be a football fan. What a time to be alive. Don't know what I'm talking about as Georgie finds a bit of space to shoot and is denied, and it will be cleared by the host. Still 1-1, but I could definitely see someone winning this. Both teams undefeated for now, but I don't think that will be the case at the full-time whistle. And that will do it, a 1-1 draw. So 3 straight draws for Ipswich Town as our form starts to falter once again. But the big news was that right towards the end of that game, Georgie went down after a tough tackle. And I'm really hoping it's just going to be a bruise, but I think it might be a bit longer. Got a point, I think, to qualify, but how bad was the injury? Fingers crossed. Let's have a look and see just how bad it was. I believe the point has now seen us through guaranteed, but how bad was the injury for Georgie? We've had a lot of problems with injuries this season, and it continues out until mid-April. And I said earlier today we got a genuine shot at the treble, albeit a tough one. I think our chances of getting it now has taken a massive, massive blow. Georgie's been brilliant after a tough start, really turning it around, but now won't see him again until around mid to late April. That's a lot of football to miss and a lot of key games to not be involved. That's a huge blow. Right, let's do 2 more games. We'll end on that Europa League phase closer against Shakhtar Donetsk. But heading into this one, a massive contest, man. No wins in our last 3 in all competitions. But quite frankly, we've got to return to winning ways here in order to stay in pole position. That's where we are right now with 16 games to go. It is incredibly tight. Only 1 point separating 3 teams and 5 points separating the top 5. This, a game in hand. Arsenal have got one themselves as well. So in order to keep them below us, we'll need to match their result. Bournemouth away in Dorset. Come on, switch down. Come on, man. Big away day victory. If we can get one, please. And our first in 4 in all competitions. That is what we need if we are to be back in form. Leif Davis from a mile out. Oh, my word. You know when I said I'm getting better at free kicks? Oh, I tell you what, I'm getting better. I am getting better. It might not have gone in, but that was very close. Which don't travel well, as we know. No wins in our last, 4 in all competitions now on the road. Counting that game there in Denmark. So this is a toughie here. Bournemouth on the south coast. Hopefully, Amin Adli's return can see us return to winning ways. Here's Adam Wharton getting on the turn. He got Adli ahead of him, but instead he'll bait his man, go all the way, and score a wonderful goal. It is his 2nd of the season. I believe his 1st in the league, and it is Ipswich breaking the deadlock for an unlikely source. I saw Adli in the middle, and the Bournemouth defender seemed to stop and just say, don't allow the pass into the Moroccan. So Adam said, fair enough, I'll do it myself. You see here, watch Adli in the middle, and... It's quite funny, actually. Just left Adam to go through one-on-one and smacks it in. Okay, all right, 18 in, leading by 1. We were leading by 1 at Villa Park, so got to make sure we see this out. So second half underway, half an hour on the clock, and it's worth pointing out that whilst we are leading here, and we've been, for the most part, in control, I mean... No clean sheets in our last 4 away days and only 1 in our last 3 games in all competitions. A tough ask for Balker in the back line to ensure we don't give away silly chances, don't give away a silly goal, don't give away 2 priceless points. Just got to make sure we stay composed. And this will be a big return to winning ways here. 20 on the clock. It's ours to throw away. The goal scorer Adam Wharton to Gibbs White. Delap ahead. Morgan takes it on himself. Oh, it's gone in! What a clanger from Onana! And Morgan Gibbs White gets the 2nd, and surely the goal that gives us our 1st away day victory after none in 4 in all competitions. But I want to see that on the replay. Did it take a deflection off someone? Because Morgan didn't hit it very cleanly. But for Onana, I think it might have done. I might have to give the Cameroonian, you got to defend him a little bit there. I think it was probably going wide had it not been for the deflection. First of all, it was a clanger. In the end, it's a deflected effort. Gibbs White claims it though. Ipswich Town are going to win. The way they distribute own goals in FC is really strange, because the general rule of thumb is if the shot is on target and it was clearly going in before it takes a deflection, then it normally gets given to the goal scorer. But if it's off target and it was going wide or over the bar and it only goes in via the help of a deflection, then it's given as an own goal, because it wouldn't have gone in had it not had the deflection. If that doesn't take the nick off the defender there, that goes wide. So how can Gibbs White claim that as his goal? That's not how own goals work in real life. Hey, listen, Morgan won't mind. It'll add to his stat sheet. And Ipswich won't mind, because this will be keeping us top. Amin Adli on his comeback game, denied by Onana, and Koleosho shot easily claimed. Not going to matter though. Not going to matter. A return to winning ways and a big 3 points in Dorset. Man, did we need that. Absolutely huge. Yeah, let's go one more game today. Our final one as we play host to the Ukrainian side, Shakhtar Donetsk. I believe there is no reward other than a financial incentive for finishing in a higher place in the league phase. With top 8 wrapped up, we don't need to worry about this too much. But it would be nice to end the league phase undefeated. Shakhtar Donetsk, the Ukrainian side, coming to East Anglia. A real field, to be fair, a backup side. Come on, switch town. Got Liverpool away at Anfield on Sunday, so with that being the case, I mean, hold on, easy money. then we've just got to make sure we keep the starters fit, fresh and raring to go for that. The two that combined for the opening goal might start on the weekend, but might not. Hassan to Washington, 1-0. To be fair, even with our backup side out there, and Bulker, of course, between the sticks, I mean, we've still got such a great team, and it speaks volumes to the depth that we've managed to accrue over the past couple of years. In Season 1, if we had to rotate the team, we didn't have an 83 rated David Washington leading the line or an 80 rated wonder kid in Moses Hassan. No, we have players like George Hurst and Nathan Broadhead, and with all due respect to those players, they're not quite at the same level. Good players to have in the squad, but nowhere near this quality. David in a double, 2-0 Ipswich, and it looks like we will be closing out with back-to-back wins. Well, I wouldn't say we're back to our best, but we are back in form. Yep, no losses now in our last 8 games in all competitions, and back-to-back clean sheets and back-to-back wins as the Tractor Boys qualify from the league phase undefeated and stay top of the league as well. Treble? I think it's a bit too early to be dreaming it out. But have a fantastic day, guys. That'll do it today. Much love to you all. And I'll see you for next episode with massive games in the league. Starting with Liverpool, our new rivals away at Anfield. We'll have the FA Cup 4th round away against Manchester City. And we'll see the draw, I think, for who we've got in the last 16 Europa League as well. Have a great day. Much love. And I'll see you for the next episode very soon.